Benvenuto. Fortier. Monsieur. Okay. What else have we got? Vita.
That's me.
Yeah. Okay. Grüße miteinander. Herzlich willkommen. Welcome one and all, but at the end of the day, all it means is ciao tutti. Right? That's where we are. Right. It's great to see an international audience here. Right. I'm glad you all made it. Thank you for joining Stephanie and Will on this special day. They chose a destination wedding, and that's not easy, but wow. Yeah. Okay. This is important to all of you. It's important to me, and I'm so glad that the Rolling Stones aren't playing in Denver tonight. Because they were planned to, and me and Mick arranged that he would now play on August 10th. And he's doing well. Right. Okay. Take a few seconds. Right, forget it. Take a few seconds and look around this place. Forget the rain. Look around. Look around the church that you were in this afternoon. Look around that you've seen the city you've been in for the last few days. Such an amazing place. Now you get to sort of try and understand why Stephanie and Will chose this place. And thank you so much, because you are sharing Rome with us. Yeah. Right? And that is... Rome is a special place to our family because Stephanie Romina was born here. Right? That's a great thing. The Eternal City is great to us. And I hope that those of you who are visiting for the first time by now going, wow. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Come on. If you're visiting for the second time, you've come back and you're thinking, wow. Right? You know, we lived here for 2 years. Stephanie was born here. So we think this is the best place on earth and a wonderful place to celebrate a wedding with Stephanie and Will. Stephanie. It's been a wonderful experience over the last 30 years. Watching you grow up in various places, growing up to the child, woman, whatever, that you've come to be. And we are so, so proud of you. Not many of you know, but I gotta check on this. But when Stephanie went to high school in America, right, she'd been part of this nomadic IBM, Sam and Giesler, living in various countries, living in various parts of Germany, right? And we challenged her quite a lot. When Stephanie went to high school in the US, it was her 6th school, right, in 3 different countries. So, yeah, and she rose to that. And the kids are more flexible than parents, actually. So, and then she topped it off by just going off to Bath University and Berlin University, right, and doing a master's there. So you've been an absolute pleasure to watch your development and growth. We're so proud of you in that. Right? And the fact that we, in 2003, decided to stay in the US, despite what Craig said, he always said we'd stay, that it was the right decision for all of us. We loved Colorado, we became a US citizen, and by the way, it was the right decision for you. So, most of you know that we're a little bit crazy about running. Right? Stephanie's done her marathons, but Giesel's actually the only one who hasn't done a marathon. Ooh. But she's entered in the lottery for the 2020 London Marathon. So, in a way, it's fitting that on some May Sunday in 2013, Stephanie went out for a run with the Hash House Harriers, as you probably read on the website, and some guy running past, what are all these guys? But anyway, so running has become part of your life. It's always been part of our lives, right? Okay. And the fact that after this run, and if you know Stephanie, and you know Will, they're sort of, East Coasters, millennials, you don't go to a bar till 2 o'clock in the morning in your sweaty running gear, unless there's a certain spark. And that's what they did, right? All right, come on, where we were. So Will, for you, I'm so happy that you went out running on that day in May in 2013, because that was a big decision. So on to Will. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you, and more recently, your family, right? Well, your enthusiasm, as most of you know, is contagious. And I hope that you've enjoyed the times we've had together over the last few years, as we've had as well, right? And then when you joined the German little situation, you took up a challenge there that as you stepped up to that challenge, and we're so proud of how well you've done in that situation. And so kudos to you. And by the way, you have another special talent. You make this girl very happy. But back to running. This is the theme of the wedding. Okay. Well, I will never never ever forget you running the Berlin Marathon, and I did about 10 to 12k running with you, and you were hurting so hard, right? and you all know that at 20 miles, it's the second half starts, right? And you toughed it out, and I've never been so proud of you. That's a brilliant, such great determination, and you were running with Stephanie at the time, and you were both superstars, so well done to you. Okay, where do we go? Okay. Whoa. So, when you're looking to the future, right, and that's what today's all about, I thought, I'm not going to use that old cliche, marriage is not a word but a sentence. I wouldn't use I want to think about it in terms of running, because that's what we do. I think you've done a pretty romantic sprint, maybe a loving 5K. But look around this room, and not you millennials, right? You're not part of it. But you look around this room, and we know there's people here who've been together, married 30, 40, 50 years. Wonderful achievement. Not a word, but a sentence. Right, okay. And as you know, my parents recently celebrated their 70th. Wow. This is what we're striving for, and this is what we hope you do. Right? So, really, at the end of the day, we want you to be part of this marathon. Right? Not a word, but a sentence, but a marathon, and even an ultra. So, join us on this running journey. Marathon, ultras, whatever you want, but we wish you all the best for the future, and I'm sure I speak to everyone when I say, let's toast to this special couple, Stephanie and Will. Oh, by the way, I was asked before, to lighten up the audience. Right? Hey! Because yesterday, the possible worst joke teller in the world, Wendy, came up to me and said, Sam, I've got some Sam jokes. Right? They're really corny. They're really bad and they make people laugh. She tells me, I've got some cheese jokes. Did you hear about the explosion in the cheese factory? There was debris everywhere. and we have a Colorado joke because the bears are just coming out of hibernation. And as another cheese joke, how do you get a bear to come out of hibernation? Come on, bear.
That's fun.
Oh yeah, and the final one, and I give up then. This is my. How do you hide a horse? Mascarpone. Who do I hand over to?
When Will first asked me to give a speech tonight, he failed to mention that I would be after Stephanie's father. So, thanks for that. Well, I've known Will for most of my life. We've been co-workers, we've been classmates, we've been hockey teammates, we've been baseball opponents, we've been debate partners, we've been roommates, we've been cellmates.
Here we go.
It was only a fireworks incident. Will almost shot down a police helicopter, but that's it. Don't worry. We almost died together too. Obviously, Will was driving. I'm not going to take up the entire evening telling you all the mischief that we've gotten into. Just put it this way, we've done a lot of stuff together. But most of all the labels that we've shared, Will and I truly have been brothers. And for all of you who have brothers, know this, that know how someone's your brother when they can drive you absolutely nuts one day, and the next day you want to hang out with them. That's how I know Will's been my brother. And we've always had an interesting relationship. We can spend hours arguing together, and argue literally about anything. Doesn't matter what the issue is, I know Will will always have an opinion. And we can jar back and forth with the best of them. And much drive Ellie, my beautiful fiance over there, and Stephanie nuts to put up with our bickering on the phone for hours. But getting used to it? That's not going to change anything. In the course of our lives together, I can never tell which side Will is going to take on a given subject. Whether it be politics, music, sports, or just everyday life, whatever it is, he can be a wild card sometimes, as I'm sure almost everyone is. But I imagine that's one of the reasons why Stephanie's stuck with Will, and that's why it works. Every day is an adventure with Will. As the commercial goes, he's the world's most interesting man. When you're with Will, you can laugh, you can scream, you can argue, you can be awkward, you can cry, but most of all, you can be happy. But Will's most redeemable trait is loyalty. It's a deep, caring type of loyalty, which I've heard apparently is a good trait when getting married. But I have a few stories that can demonstrate that level of loyalty that Will possesses. So I imagine many of you have a few stories of your own, but he's just that kind of person. But I had so many stories to choose from, some that were extremely embarrassing, some incriminating, some incredibly inappropriate. And it took like 3 weeks to figure out which one I was actually going to tell. It was really tough. But the one story I thought about for the past few weeks is the time that I visited you at Hobart and Williams College. It's the time that I truly knew that we were brothers and not just good friends. I was heading to Cleveland for winter break, and Hobart was like halfway from Vermont. I went to school in Burlington, Vermont, and it was a halfway point between there and Cleveland. And the 10-hour drive, there was a blizzard that night in Burlington, and like all the way through Syracuse. I was driving my Chrysler Cirrus. I had to stop every single rest stop and clean off my windshield. Forget about that. But, it took 7 hours to get to you, and I considered staying in a hotel instead, but I was like, no, Will has been hiking this up. I can't disappoint him. When I got there, he introduced me to all his friends, and the most amazing thing is that everyone knew me already. Will had been hyping me up for what seems like almost a year, and they knew everything about me, and they were excited to meet me, and it really made me feel special. And anyways, Will was having a rough time in life at the time. He had just broken up with a girlfriend, and I don't think anyone at Hobart was really on the level for Will to let out his feelings and be vulnerable. But that's something that Will needed at the time. And that night, we went out and partied with his society, Kappa Alpha Society, was it? Yeah. We listened to your buddy play piano, Evan, who somehow still works for me. Works with us, yeah. And we did a whole bunch of other mentionables, but we had the deepest conversation that we've ever had today. And to be honest, I don't think Will remembers most of what we discussed that night. But honestly, that conversation changed my life. I learned how deeply Will cared about people. I learned how deeply he cared about his family, how deeply he cared about me, and how deeply he cared about his friends, everyone that he loves. And I felt lucky. He made me feel special. We cried together that night, and it was a moment I'll never forget. But to bring the story back around, I just want to leave Stephanie with this. And you probably know most of it considering you're not married, but I just want to confirm it for you. Will, to the people he loves, is the most loyal and caring person in life. He will fight for you. He will die for you. He will go to war for you, figuratively and literally. And from the time we spent together, I've learned that you are the exact same way. Truly a perfect match, too. And in the same way that Will and I are on the same level, you now share that rare status, and frankly, you've surpassed that status. As Joseph said earlier, Joseph is, Will's like an onion. There's layers that you need to peel back. But you get to reach that next level, and the Will, even I, will never even get to know, and I'm truly jealous of that fact. So here's to the both of you, a life with the most deeply loyal and caring brother that I've ever known, and I can't wait to share our lives together, and I'd like everyone to raise their glass. I love both of you. Congrats to a long life of love and happiness. Salute.
And kind of like Alex, I feel like I've known Stephanie for a really long time. It's almost like she's my sister. So she's my sister. So thank you all so much for coming to this magnificent place to celebrate two magnificent people that are so important to me. And I feel like all of us here have this idea of what is true love, and how can we express true love to our partner, and how can Stephanie and Will express true love to one another. But There's a theory that's gained some popularity over the past couple of years, and it's called the 5 languages of love, and maybe some of you have heard of it. And basically what it states is that we express true love to our partners in 5 different ways, and those are words of affirmation, gift giving, spending quality time with each other, acts of service, and physical touch. And I'll talk about those a little bit later. It's my speech. I hope you'll stay with me. I have 5 minutes. I was on the timer. But basically, those are the 5 languages of love, and it also states that we express our love in maybe 1 or 2 of these ways. So in 2017 and 18, I was living in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I was making the hour-long drive. Sometimes it's 2 hours because I-95 sucks. And at this time, Stephanie and Will probably thought, okay, she's just making the drive to Arlington, Virginia because she has no social life in Fredericksburg. It was true. But what they didn't know was I didn't just spend these 1.5 years coming to Washington, D.C. to hang out with you guys and be your roommate. And what I was actually doing is I was studying this 5 languages of love theory, and you guys were both my subjects. So what I would like to do is, if you don't mind, I'd like to present my findings of 2.5 years. So bear with me. I promise I might keep it to not 5 minutes. We'll see. So the first one is words of affirmation. So as you may know, Will is the director of PR at Legal, and so his job during the week is to promote Legal, but on the weekends it's his job to be Stephanie's biggest promoter. And I would find myself on the couch and we would just be talking about stuff, and then he'd pull up a website and he'd go, Stephanie, she looks so elegant in this dress. And same for Stephanie. Sometimes Will would come home from a shopping trip and she goes, you look so great in that sports coat, just like your other 30 ones in your closet. So the next one is gift giving. So if Will wasn't maybe buying sports coats, then he would go to Lidl supermarket, where we all work together, and he would come home with about 40 bottles of wine and Prosecco, because sometimes you can just get a really good deal at Lidl for Prosecco. Stephanie was so excited about these gifts, especially when we would start putting them in her closet and soft drawers, because there was nowhere else to put them in their apartment. Wonderful gifts. Amazing. The third language is spending quality time with each other. So something else that we would do on the weekends, in nicer weather than probably this, is ride our bicycles to South Block Cafe and celebrate the strenuous 30-minute bicycle ride by getting smoothie bowls together. And I have to say, they both happen to like peanut butter and jelly smoothie bowl, and if you like the same smoothie bowls, I read somewhere in ancient Roman history that that's a sign for true love. It's the best, it really is. The fourth language of love in this theory is doing acts of service for each other. And there's so many moments on the weekends where it's not these grandeur gestures, but small things like Will going out early in the morning and returning with Brugger's bagels, or this amazing German bakery, I don't remember the name of it, but he would come back with or what was the one that closed? There was this amazing bakery. And they made these amazing little baguettes with ham and cheese, and you'd always come back with them, and we'd have cappuccinos, and it was great. Or you baking the banana bread that Will loves so much. It's just so apparent that the way that you just interact with each other, it shows that there's so much love apparent. And then the fifth language of love is physical touch, and really what can I say more here than foot rubs? Or, as you say in German, Füßekissen. So when we were kids, there were many jobs for my parents. But one of the jobs of my mother was to rub my sister's feet.
I still do it to this day.
But we know it's true true love when I found myself on many weekends sitting on the couch watching a movie with them, and Stephanie's just like, and it doesn't matter if it's a 30-minute TV show or a 2-hour-long movie. Rest assured, Stephanie's feet will have been rubbed by after any period of time on the couch. So I hope after these maybe 5 minutes or so, you recognize that I've put so much work into this 1.5 years of research. But it still only provides really a glimpse into the 6 years of this like amazing and evolving relationship that you've had. But what I can tell is that this kindness and affection and love that I see between the two of you all the time, and that you've always given to me when I've stopped by on the weekends, if that's any indication of your future life together, then I just know that it's going to be such a joyful life, and it's going to be filled with love and banana bread and foot rubs and smoothie bowls, and it's going to just be wonderful. Yeah, and those are foot rubs. You feature them. So I'd like to, I don't have a glass, but I hope you all do. So I would like to raise a toast to my siblings, who I love so much. Thank you for always taking such good care of me. You were my home away from home when I was living on the East Coast, and I love you guys so much. And I hope that you just take the best care of each other in the future. But you always have of me, so I know you will of each other.